So this is 13.2b Intermediate Algebra series, and we are ready for example number 3. And example number 3 has 5 and our sigma sign, and it says that our first number we're going to put in is 2, and we're going to use this formula. Okay, now notice that we have an x here. That's going to make a big difference here in how we do this. Not in how we do it, but in how far we go. So we're starting at 2 and we go up to 5. So we're just going to replace the I with a 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's do with the 2 first, plus, and then a 3, plus, and then a 4, plus, and then a 5. Okay, so all we did was replace the I with a 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, this just showed me where to start, that showed me where to end. Because we have variables, and because our variables have different exponents, we can't combine these. We can't combine an x squared with an x cubed. So pretty much just going to leave it the way it is because we can't solve it any further than that. Alright, the next equation, and these are very similar to the ones we did in 13.1, is where they give you the summation 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. Okay, we know that there's a certain formula that we used in order to get 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, we don't know what that formula was, but how did we get a 1, how did we get a 3, how did we get a 5? Now when you look here, there's 2 difference here, there's a 2, a 2, a 2. But that's not going to work for us because 1 plus 2 is 3, but how did we get to 5? 3 plus 2 is 5. How did we get to 7? 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay, so we didn't use the same number. So we didn't go 1 plus 2 is 3, and use the second number. 2 plus 3 is 5, and use the third number. 3 plus 2. Alright, so anyway, let's go ahead and show you what I mean here. We can take 1 plus 2 and get 3. And then 2 plus 2 gives me 4. 3 plus 2. So when I just add 2 to my first, second, and third number, I am not getting this list of numbers. So I've got to find a formula so that when I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, I'm going to get 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so this formula, that isn't going to work. So what I need to do is figure something else out, and this is where it gets, that little hard part. So let me just give it to you, 2i minus 1. So if I put in a 1, and I put in a 2, and I put in a 3, and I put in a 4, I'm going to get these numbers. So see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to come up with a formula so that when I put numbers in the right order, 1, 2, 3, 4, the first, second, third, fourth, I'm going to get these numbers up here. So 2 minus 1 is 1, 4 minus 1 is 3, 6 minus 1 is 5, 8 minus 1 is 7. So it worked here. I did get these numbers here when I put those in. So this is going to end up being my formula. Alright, so in order to get a 1, what was the number I had to put in here? I had to put in a 1, right? So I'm starting at 1. And how many numbers do I have? I have 5. So I go up through 5. Okay? So what I have to do, and this goes back to 13.1, I had to come up with the formula first so I'd know where to start and where to end. Okay? So let's look at the next one here. And this would be example number 5. And example number 5 goes, okay, so now you got to find a formula that takes me from 3 to 12 to 27 to 48. All right, so let's see what I've got here. How did I get from 3 to 12 to 27? Okay, when I have a big jump, like 12 to 27, I'm probably squaring something somewhere. But I know I'm going to have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, because I have 4 numbers. So I'm going to have to do something to each one of these numbers in order to get a 3, a 12, a 27, a 48. Okay, so what do? Well, let's look at the 2. If I square 2, I get 4. If I square 3, I get 9. If I square 4, I get 16. Well, that's quite a ways, because 4 squared doesn't give me anything close to 48, but if I multiply it by 3, I get 48. What if I take 3 squared and multiply it by 3? I get 27. 2 squared times 3, I get 12. 1 squared times 3, I get 3. So my formula looks like it's 3 times I squared. 3 times I squared. Looks like that works. That ends up being my formula, because I is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got my thing here. I started at 1 for my I, and I went up to 4. And my formula then was 3I squared. Okay? Again, those are tricky. Use your solution key in order to do these. Try doing it on your own first, but then know that your solution key is there to kind of walk you through it. And if you're going to get this, guys, you're going to have to look at the solution key not just to get the answer and write it down, but so that you can say, oh, okay, now I see how they got that. Look through it. Think about it. How are they getting the answer there? It's really important. Okay, let's look at example 6. Okay, so that's what they gave you. Alright, so with that information there, I know my formula is going to be x plus I over x to the I, because notice 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means my summation, where did I start? I started at 3, and I went up to 6. And that is the i's that I put in here. I put in a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6 there. Okay, and because these aren't numbers, they're just basically formulas here. I have to write it with an X in here. So this is a pretty easy one to put in there. So again, these numbers are your i's, and your i's will always be in numerical order. Finding out where to start, finding out where to end is what goes here and here. So you find the formula first, then you determine where your I has to start, what number you have to plug in here to get this, and what number you end. X plus 6 over x to the 6, so that it worked there. Alright, so that's it for 13.2, and again, make use of the solution manual, but don't depend on it completely. And that's it for 13.2, B as in boy.